have neighbors.
So neighbor, like, basically like, well, let me give you some understanding of the scripture real quick. Because our neighbor, Black Hispanic neighbor, that's why I stopped you. I said, hey, brother, because in the scripture, you would be considered my neighbor, right? Yeah. Check this out. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother. Oh, why we be like, what's up, bro? What's up, brother? You know, back in the day. What's up, brother? And stuff like that, right? Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Is this talking about blood, brother? Like somebody come from the same father as you? Or just talking about in this? Right. So it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. Rebuke means to correct thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So sin is anything that breaks the law, statute, commandments of the Most High God, right? It says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So what this scripture is saying, we shouldn't be going out here. So our Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, they kill each other. So you heard of MS-13, you heard of Tango Blast, you heard about Bloods, Crips. We have a history, long history of killing one another. We have a long history of coveting each other's woman. We have a long history of envying one another to the point where we want to hate on each other, cause bloodshed. We on the same plantation. When I say same plantation, we work in the same building. We work together. You trying to find out a way to take my job from me. I'm trying to find out a way to take your job from you. So-called white man permits the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans to sell drugs up and down these streets. And what happened when somebody get a little bit too big, they want to take him out, take over his, right? You got all these different things that go on amongst our people, right? So how can things change if we're walking in this way? Well, the scripture just told you how. So that's the way that we change in these last days. And the Most High God is only for, the Most High God is only for the 12 tribes of Israel, the people who these curses fit. These curses only happen to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You might ask, how did they happen to Hispanics? How did they happen to Native Americans? Well, a lot of us have Native American blood in us. Have you ever known that? Blacks having Native American blood in them? Okay, so-called Native Americans. That's not what we are. We're not Black. We're not Native American. The so-called white man calls us those things, and we just eat that shit up. Because what? The so-called white man gives us all of our needs. And the scripture reads to the point that we are oppressed in these same manners. That's in the scripture. All right? Hear this real quick. It says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken, meaning y'all won't listen, y'all won't hear, if you won't hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Is curses a good thing or a bad thing? A curse. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because I believe it's a bad thing. What you believe?
It depends on what type of situation it is.
Okay, so let me give you a little bit more information, and you might be able to say, and that might have some truth to it. Check this out. It says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearken not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. So this is like a punishment upon the people of Israel. Okay, you familiar with any parts of the Bible? Did you know how Moses brought the people of Israel out of the hand of the Egyptians? Egyptians was what color? The people.
They like Egyptians, like it's not like the pyramid and all that.
Yeah, like not what you seen in movies. What you know based off history. Of course they were. It was black, probably black as that shirt. Yeah. Black as my shirt. Dark like me. All right. So check this out. It says, because I hearken not, so the Most High brought the nation of Israel out of the hands of the Egyptians. But the thing is, Israel, we were dark skinned too, but we weren't like them. We weren't of them. Okay? They had their own nation. We didn't have a nation of people. So check this out. It says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. So these curses are going to be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. This is going to be the way you identify, just like this sign is telling you where this the bus is going to. Just how this sign can tell you what bus you're about to catch. It's a sign on the people of Israel. And it says, all these curses are a sign and a wonder upon the people of Israel. It says, and upon thy seed. If you have a child, that's going to be your seed, right? You plant it into a woman, she conceives. I mean, she's going to give birth to your seed. That's your kid. You know what I mean? That's how you tell what nation of people. So if a white man had a baby with a black woman, that child is going to be the seed of that nation of people, the white man's nation of people. It don't matter how light-skinned she is, this, that, the other, it don't matter. It's about the seed of the man. That's where it comes from, all right? So here it is. It says, it's going to be upon you for a sign and a wonder. Check this out. It says, therefore, and this is verse 48, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron up on thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. So what does that tell you about?
Kind of that's my name, I'm not gonna lie to you.
He gonna put a yoke of iron upon your neck. That's slavery. Right? They brought us in slave ships. Look what they do to us right here. Do you think these people went to jail? The people went to jail for feeding our babies to alligators? You think they went to jail for that? No. There is no judgment for the so-called white man if the so-called white man gonna be doing it. There is no judgment gonna be put on the so-called white man. They did all these things freely to us. Look at what they did right there. That's lynching. That's a lynching. You ever heard of lynching? That's lynching in Mexico. So-called Mexicans have Israelite blood in them, bro. That's why they oppress them to this day. That's why they tell them they can't come into to Texas or to America. They took the land from the so-called Native Americans, killed them by millions, killed blacks by millions, took Mexicans, so-called Mexicans and indigenous Indians into slavery before we went into slavery. All right, so let's go on. Let's see if we find another curse. Check this out. So we're gonna be in one of all things. The so-called black man sell you that shirt? Did the so-called black man make those shoes? No. That's right. We in one of all things from who? Our oppressors. So-called Asian man, they have a kingdom. They all confederate against us. Everybody who's dwelling in peace, have a nation to turn back to. Every nation of people that's not getting killed in the street by cops every day. Who getting killed in the cops in the streets every day? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's why it says right here in verse 16, curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field. We were in the slave plantation, in the slave field. We built our own, you ever heard of Black Wall Street?
Yeah.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was black-only businesses. It was a black city, a city that was established by so-called blacks. And what happened? The so-called white man came and destroyed it with violence, right? You familiar to that, right?
Yeah.
It happened in America when we came out of slavery. Military-grade equipment destroyed that nation. It wasn't a bunch of Ku Klux Klan's members that just came and burned stuff. No, it was like an army came up in there and destroyed our people, right?
Yeah.
So what am I saying? Most High God is talking about our oppression in this book. So that means what? He said, we are the people of Israel. If we don't listen to the voice of the Most High God, these curses are going to be a sign and a wonder upon our people. You just, hey, these curses happen to us. You just said it yourself. In a way, you know, this ain't happened to so-called whites. They say that the Jews were oppressed. They say that something bad happened to the Jews. Listen, the scripture already say, I know them who say that they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. He said, I know your oppression. I know your poverty. I know your tribulation. Why does he know it? Because he the one who put it on us because we didn't listen to the voice, to his voice in the day when we came out of Israel. So we used to be, you know how people say, well, y'all used to be kings. Y'all used to be, you know, we used to be kings, we used to be queens, man, this, that, and the other. You remember, you know how people say that today? Well, guess what? We did. We was that royal priesthood. We were Israel, man. Yasha Allah. Okay? So have you ever seen brothers out here in the streets pushing this word? Have you ever heard of the Hebrew Israelites?
Nah, not really.
Well,
My first time. You don't want to do downtown.
what part of town you live in?
Me, I just moved back down. Here.
So you from, you live in Greens?
I was staying in New Orleans.
Right. You see my lady from New Orleans. So, reason that we out here pushing this word, reason we out here standing in strength now, reason we have understanding, reason that there's other brothers in other cities, even in New Orleans. I don't know if you ever heard of different councils of GMS out there in New Orleans. You know, we pushing this word out. Brothers standing in the street speaking evil, speaking truth and judgment concerning the so-called white man. This is the image that they gave us of Christ. The real image of Christ is right here. The real image of Christ is depicted as a so-called black man. We're not saying this man with all his little features is Christ, but we saying this is the depiction that was given in the scriptures, man. Okay, that he was a so-called black man. He ain't no white devil. All right? So let me keep going on these curses. I got one more curse for you. Hear this real quick. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. Check this out. So this, we already told you. What's going on, brother? So I already told you. Back to hear more of the word, or what?
Yeah, I'm just chiming in.
All right, so look. The reason, so I just pointed out to you. Slavery in the book, right? Check this out. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. So what happened? We went into slavery on every nation. How you think the Great Wall of China, you ever heard of the Great Wall of China? How you think it was built? They used Israelites, man. They used so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man.
Yeah, I gotta go. I got one question for you.
All right, wait.
I got a question too, though.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
So, he said when the world ends, he said he's gonna send fire. You believe that?
It's going to be thermonuclear destruction, man.
Okay, that's why it's so hot right now, because he's burning us up. Do you think every year the sun get closer to
The reason that it's getting hotter, the reason it's getting hotter and hotter is because the so-called white man is destroying the earth. The so-called white man got something called global warming happening. The so-called white man has holes all in the ozone. The so-called white man have all these, they like to say, well, what's happening to the earth? Well, humanity. No, it ain't humanity. It's the so-called white man that's destroying the earth. You know what I mean? It ain't no humanity. It's a so-called white man that's destroying the earth. We know this thing, man. He the ones who. He the one. Okay, so we can even deal with that. But at the same time, at the end,
we the original humans.
the scriptures say that the earth was made for the sake of the Israelites, man. And who am I telling you that the Israelites are? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The one that was prophesied to be coming into slavery on ships. And that's what I'm finna get for you. Let me let you hear this real quick, and I'm gonna let you ride. So it says, verse 65, it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no rest, no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind. We don't know how to get bills paid. Our children out here sick. We ain't got no what do you call it, insurance for them. Okay, we got bills that need to be paid. Our big mama finna die. You know, we got all types of things happen. We can't rest assured with anything, bro. So-called white man ain't living in that type of pressure. So-called Asian man ain't living like that. So-called Middle Eastern man ain't living like that, unless they choose to. But so-called black, we weren't destined to go that way. You just said that you knew about Black Wall Street. If we continue with Black Wall Street and then the town that was in Virginia, if we would have continued with all these towns, do you think we would have died off like this?
Segregation was necessary, man.
So
integration was a bad thing because we lost our business, we lost everything that we had.
Exactly. So
fuck integration.
So basically, what he's saying is, the so-called white man pushed for that type of understanding. That's why they endorsed Martin Luther King.
That's what I don't like.
Do you understand that?
Malcolm X.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Malcolm X. They killed Malcolm X.
Exactly.
Okay, they endorsed Martin Luther King. Why? See, the reason
it's funny how he has a holiday, but yet Malcolm X does. And he's the hero in my eyes. Malcolm X is the hero in my eyes.
Right. But then what happened? When Martin Luther King finally realized what he did, he got people to join the military.
He started having meetings with MLK and Muhammad Ali.
Hey, listen, the so-called white man has destroyed the mind of our people. He has always paid off so-called black men to be a disruptor in anything that blacks did that was going to benefit us according to this system of oppression. But now, the Most High God is bringing understanding we're going to be storing up riches in the world that's to come. Like it says in 2nd Esdras chapter 8, verse 1. It said, this world was made for many, but the world to come was made for few. So that's the decree that you're talking about. The decree that's going to happen when whatever leader, the Most High put the spirit on to send that thermonuclear missile over here, it's going to get really strange. It's going to be strange acts, like it says in Isaiah chapter 28. It says it's going to be a strange act that's going to happen. When this missile comes, you think that we all going to die? No. That's when the scripture comes into play where it says we all going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Most High going to bring power, bro. So let me give this brother this real quick. So it says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. and thou shalt fear. Man, I got this case I gotta fight. You know what I mean? My lawyer talking about they trying to raise up the charges. Our brothers and our sisters deal with this stuff every day because of what? The mischief created by law, by the so-called white man. He created mischief by law. Am I saying that those that's going that route are totally right?
Yeah, I look at the rules like they want like every time you get locked up with a judge, they like it. It's like it's
They trying to set you up, bro. That's what they trying to do.
It was designed against personal color.
So when you run the stop
all the
sign-
laws and rules need to be revised and changed. Because we still going by laws that were put into place by slave owners.
And then slave owners owning all these businesses, they have a say on what laws get pushed. Go look at that documentary called The 13th. You ever heard of that? The documentary called The 13th. It's on Netflix. You need to check that thing out. Both of y'all. Y'all ever heard about Khalif Browder?
I watch Hidden Colors all the time.
Khalif Browder. You ever heard of Khalif Browder?
I've heard of him.
That young man who was put in jail over some false charge. And Rikers prison, Rikers jail.
If I ain't mistaken, I think they said he did something to the flag or something like that.
Nah, they said his brother stole something. He's like, man, I don't even know that dude. I ain't never stole nothing of his. Random dude, yeah, it was him. Put the dude in jail. They was like, man, you gonna get out. Dude ended up standing in jail for 2 years. It was a rough prison, bro. The inmates was getting paid to beat up on him. He put him in a tank with a bunch of dudes that been there. Bunch of dudes that ain't supposed to be in the tank came there, jumped him, beat him up. He was great. He was probably great. You know what I mean? Brother dealt with a lot of madness in there. And then he came out, when he got out, Jay-Z did a story on him. And then what happened to him?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's the documentary they
That's right.
They did about him and whatnot. He got, matter of fact, but they said that he committed suicide.
He committed suicide after, not inside.
But he was in jail for something he didn't do though.
Exactly.
I seen it.
You see? That's what the so-called white man
When you
can do
said
to
Jay-Z,